The Big Bowl Show has arrived. Shine them shoes and polish that brass. The final General Gridiron of 2019 is here, and we're going to have a frontal assault on the top bowl matchups of the season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Welcome into the bunker of General Gridiron, Phil Marshall of football forecasting. And yes, we're about to map out the way this college football bowl season's going to go. Will your favorite team be marching to victory, or will the enemy be taking your battle flag? We got 39 bowl games to get to, not including the big pick on January 13th, the national championship game. So, as my good buddy old Jerry Reed would say, we got a long way to go and a short time to get there. So load up, Bandit, for another round of General Gridiron's football foretelling and the best bowls of the holiday season. The Alamo Bowl, Texas versus Utah. The Mountain Tribe blew their chance at getting in the CFP, and the committee hammered them for that lackluster performance in the Pac-12 title game. Kyle Whittingham's War Party will now be in San Antonio on New Year's Eve. The home team really will have a home advantage inside this dome, as the Hook'ems hope to close what's been a ho-hum year with a victory going into 2020. But bad news, Bevo, y'all are gonna get scalped. The Generals victor, Utah. The Outback Bowl, Auburn and Minnesota. 2020 gets kicked off on the gridiron with the War Eagle Wrecking Crew in Tampa, aiming to get a new year going the right way. The Gus Bus ended the regular season on a great note, War Eagle. Meanwhile, Minnesota's boat didn't get rowed right when playing Wisconsin in the snow, and now Goldie Gopher's Armada sails their rowboats to Tampa, hoisting a Big Ten pride flag. But those SEC boys are going to pepper that boat with a Gatling gun of great football. The Generals victor, Auburn. The Citrus Bowl, Michigan and Alabama. Jim Harbaugh meets Nick Saban at Disney World. Now this ought to be good. Big Al felt jilted this bowl season. No CFP berth, no New Year's Six action. But hey, the Tide has a chance to hang out at Disney World and whoop up on the Weasels from Ann Arbor. Shea Patterson will have to do his best ducking and diving to keep this contest close, but when that last bottle rocket goes off, that Wolverine team will be just as useless as spent fireworks. The Generals victor, Alabama. The Orange Bowl, Florida and Virginia. UF and UVA haven't played a football game since way back in 1959. That's 60 years ago for those keeping score. And that was a 55-10 thrashing of the ACC team in what would become the Swamp. As the year closes, the Swamp Lizards of today will reach back in the history book and try to rekindle that same kind of butt-whooping on the Coastal Division champs. Bronco Mendenhall's men of Charlottesville will look better than they did in Charlotte, but a loss will be their parting gift for the year 2019. The Generals victor, Florida. Penn State and Memphis in the Cotton Bowl. Go, Tigers, go! The Memphis Tigers have had an incredible season, starting with a Week 1 win over arch-rival Mississippi. The U of M also won their first outright conference title in 50 seasons, and now a trip to a New Year's Six Bowl in Big D's in the works. Not as much excitement on the other sideline for James Franklin's Pennsylvania Pussycats, but a good season, no doubt. PSU's veteran experience on the sideline and on the gridiron, coupled with Mike Norvell's fast track to Tallahassee, will give the Keystone Crew the winning edge. The Generals victor, Penn State. Now those were some mighty fine gridiron contests going on this bowl season, but I know y'all want to know who the Generals picking to win the 2019 college football war. I'll tell you in a moment as General Gridiron continues with a big announcement.
I was living in a shelter juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
Howdy, soldiers. This is General Gridiron back with you. Each week, this fabulous football forecast is heard on some of the finest radio stations in the U.S. of A., including Muscle Shoals, Alabama, WSBM AM 1340, Fox Sports Shoals, and WTJK FM 105.3, Fox Sports Jackson in Humboldt, Tennessee. We appreciate all of our radio affiliates. Now, let's get back into the Big Bowl football fight. The Sugar Bowl, Baylor and Georgia. The Burly Beasts from Waco haven't played in this bowl game since 1957, and that was a triumph over Bowden Wyatt's undefeated and number 2 ranked Tennessee Volunteers. This time, Baylor's got another SEC East team on the docket, Harry Dog. Kirby Smart and company were sideswiped in this same bowl less than a year ago. With that SEC championship taken to the woodshed performance and the Natty out of reach, ain't no way the Classic City Canines are going to be up and motivated for this New Year's Day Donnybrook. The Generals victor, Baylor. Oregon and Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl. Oregon snuck into the bowl with a very public shellacking of Utah. Not to say Coach Cristobal's Birds haven't been one of the better teams of 2019, but a Week 1 loss to Auburn and a head-scratching hammering in the Valley of the Sun kept UO OUT. Paul Chris Badgers are just dang happy to be back in Pasadena for the first time in 7 years, but they want to win this game, a feat Bucky hasn't accomplished since the very first day of this century. And the only thing more bright than all of those red roses will be the fans decked in that same old hue. The Generals victor on Wisconsin. And now to the College Football Playoff National Semifinal Contest. Fiesta Bowl, Clemson and Ohio State. The defending national champions have become a college football tradition. Where there's a CFP, there's also the other CFP, Clemson Football Powerhouse. And this 2019 roster of Little Dabos might be the best one we've seen. Meanwhile, Coach Day's Ohio Nuts are unblemished entering this desert duel, but so is Clemson. The Big Ten school and their Georgia boy behind center are lethal. But sorry, Yankee school, the ACC champs have their own Georgia boy at QB, and he's going to be in the zone come December 28th. The Generals victor, Clemson. Semifinal number 2, the Peach Bowl, LSU and Oklahoma. Go Tigers! Don't you just love it when Bayou Bengal Brigadier Ed Orgeron puts that you-know-what-eating grin on his face and slides that declaration in at each media avail? Indeed, them Tigers are a-going right back to Atlanta for the second time in a few weeks. Jalen Hurts and Oklahoma are next up on LSU's quest to claim national championship number 4. The land-grabbing gang out of Norman did what all thought they'd do, sneak into the CFP's back door. But in this semifinal, Lincoln Riley's Boomer Sooners ain't surprising anybody, especially them Tigers. The Generals victor, LSU. So we come to the January 13th College Football Playoff National Championship game, LSU and Clemson. The General has a bold prediction. The Tigers will win the national championship, and it'll be the 4th natty for the program, and they'll take that big old trophy back to Death Valley and have one heck of a party. But which bunch of jungle beasts are we talking about here? The Louisiana Tigers or the felines nesting alongside Lake Hartwell's waters? In this one, Orgeron and his team might have the talk, but Sweeney and Clemson definitely have the walk and the experience to win. The Generals victor back-to-back. The Clemson Tigers. We've already looked at the 2019 bowl lineups list of amazing contests, but sit tight, Jack. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap up this week's General Gridiron.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
This is General Gridiron back with you. We've already maneuvered through the list of top 10 bowl games coming up around the New Year's holiday. Here's the other 30 FBS bowl games going on between now and January 6th. The Camping World Bowl, Notre Dame handles Iowa State. Holiday, USC rides over Iowa. Las Vegas, Boise State blasts Washington. New Orleans, UAB burns Appalachian State. Birmingham, Cincinnati scratches Boston College. Belk Bowl, Virginia Tech outshops Kentucky. Liberty, Navy lays siege on Kansas State. Cheez-It, Air Force bombs Washington State. Sun Bowl, Florida State axes Arizona State. Texas Bowl, Oklahoma State lassos Texas A&M. Military, North Carolina steps on Temple. Pinstripe, Wake Forest whoops Michigan State. Music City, Louisville embarrasses Mississippi State. Gator, Tennessee beats Indiana. Armed Forces, Tulane rolls over Southern Miss. Bahamas, Buffalo stampedes UNC Charlotte. Frisco Bowl, Utah State plows past Kent State. Lending Tree, Miami of Ohio, Filet Gumbos, Louisiana, Lafayette. Red Box, Cal gets by Illinois. New Mexico, San Diego State embargoes Central Michigan. Cure Bowl, Georgia Southern douses Liberty's Flame. Arizona, Georgia State scares Wyoming. Boca Raton, Florida Atlantic feels right at home versus SMU. Camellia, Florida International best Arkansas State. Gasparilla, Marshall stampedes UCF. First Responder, Western Kentucky tops Western Michigan. Hawaii hangs 10 against BYU. Independence, Louisiana Tech bites Miami. And in the Quick Lane Bowl, Pitt pounds Eastern Michigan. Thanks for listening to our lineup of great bowl games coming up in the next few weeks. We're all out of picks on this bowl edition, and that does it for the 2019 edition of General Gridiron. You can now put your swords back in their scabbards. We'll be back on the air the first week of September for the start of the 2020 college football season. Can't wait. This is John Rawl, the General of Gridiron Glory, thanking you for letting me rally the troops this season. General Gridiron is a production of y'all.com, the ultimate guide to the South.
That'll be